So, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. It's Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball. Today we are going to talk about Mama June, Shannon, and what's going on with her and her daughter, Honey Boo Boo. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining me. And if you are a loyal viewer, I appreciate you coming on to join the stream. Here we go. So, if you've been following the story, and I have, and I'll be honest, I have not ever been a very big watcher per se of this show. However, I have followed the story of the family because of all of the legal issues. And I tend to be one to follow legal problems that occur in families and with reality TV, because I swear more reality TV people end up in jail than average celebrities. So, if you are familiar with the story, or if you're not, Mama June Shannon, the mother of Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, from Mama June, Not to Hot, and other related shows, she was arrested in March for drug possession following an altercation with her boyfriend Geno Doak in Alabama. They were pulled over after they were driving erratically on the freeway. They were followed off the freeway by an unmarked car, and while they were at a gas station, the two of them were fighting. Mama June actually called police during the altercation. When they showed up and knocked on the door, they found a bunch of stuff on both parties. Both of them were charged and are facing felony charges in Alabama. Those are still outstanding and ongoing. That case has not yet been resolved. However, she and Geno are still going strong, you guys. Still going strong. So here's where we're at today. So if you remember, at the very end of last season, just prior to her arrest and right before, the final episode was an intervention, right? So Pumpkin, along with her aunt and Honey Boo Boo, sat her mom down and wanted to get June to go into inpatient therapy or rehab to seek treatment for her addiction to whatever was going on. The family was pretty reluctant to actually say that she had an addiction during the episode. Instead, they kept focusing on her unhealthy relationship with her boyfriend Geno. And it was also during that time that she and it was also during that same time that Alana, Honey Boo Boo, was in a position where she could actually no longer stay with her mother. So because of her mother's poor health, or I guess addiction, and spiraling further and further into addiction, they decided that Honey Boo Boo needed to live with somebody more stable, and she wanted to actually get back into school. Because of this, they transferred her to, Pumpkin, I should say, discussed with Alana's dad, Sugar Bear, don't you love all of these names, to talk about where Alana would live, what would go on, that kind of stuff. And so she actually decides, along with Sugar Bear, that they are going to have her live with Pumpkin. Sugar Bear agrees to allow Pumpkin, who's only 19 years old, take custody of her so that she can get enrolled in school and be in the same area which she has lived in all of her life. It was also during the same time that Mama June and Geno sort of took off. So what happens is they go into this intervention. It doesn't work. She denies it. She will not get help. She won't seek treatment. She actually gets super angry. They eventually agree to get her to the treatment center. When she gets to the center, she realizes it's for drug and alcoholism, and she doesn't want to be there, or alcohol addiction or dependence, and she doesn't want to be there. She stays, I think, less than a day and leaves. And then after that, the family said she basically took off. In the final episode, they said that the communication with them has been very limited. And at the time, she was unable to leave Alabama due to the outstanding charges. Now, since then, she has been back to Georgia or Florida, wherever they're living right now. I think it said Georgia. And returned back to their house. However, things have not gotten better. In fact, in June, Geno was seen driving right into his into Mama's June's garage with his car. When they got out of the car, he was stumbling, he was inebriated, his pants were pulled down. Mama June was in a very revealing, like, see-through dress where you could actually see, like, her bottom. Geno, when he got out of the car, had his pants hanging down and his butt hanging out, and he was literally, like, stumbling and unable to stand up. Clearly in no position to actually be driving. What is actually more concerning to me about all of this is somebody was filming this. And rather than calling the police to report the drunk driving, which was what I would have done, they decided to sell the video to BlackGrid, and then it was uploaded by the Daily Mail and TMZ. Sometimes I really don't understand people's motives. Like, sometimes I guess the story is more important than actually, like, the safety of the public. But I digress. I never reported that story, but anyways. So since then, things just haven't gotten any better. Geno was on Instagram Live about a month ago, going on and on and on about his use and how WeTV has completely cut them off, and they're no longer, like, good for business or something, and how WeTV producers have known all along what's been going on. And this entire time, June has been engaged in a very estranged relationship with her daughters, and not very present in the lives of her children. Now, I should be clear that Honey Boo Boo is at this point her only daughter that is a minor. The rest of her children are adults. Even though Pumpkin is only 19 years old, she is already a mother to a daughter who is a year old. So what happens is Honey Boo Boo is now living with her sister, Alana, who is now her legal guardian. So she's like her mama sister at 19. Honey Boo Boo is 14, and she actually just started her freshman year of high school in the end of July. Very end of July, or the 1st of August, I believe she went back to school. So in an effort to try to get to sort of entice June back to home, to get her to maybe consider coming home, they offered June an ultimatum, and they said, we will allow Honey Boo Boo to return to your house and live with you as long as you agree to seek treatment for your drug addiction, and as long as you leave Geno. You can only imagine how this went. So they were hoping that Mama June, wanting to have custody again of her daughter, would encourage her to seek help and get treatment, but it didn't. Instead, according to TMZ and another source, Mama June said, no thanks, but no thanks, I'm going to stay with Geno. And she basically chose her deadbeat boyfriend over her 14-year-old daughter. Now, BlackGrid, which is a multimedia website that takes photos and does like celebrity kind of paparazzi images, took this photo of June, and I'm going to blow it up for you. This was actually taken on Monday. She was unable to keep her eyes open. She still has not fixed her teeth, and she looks very inebriated. These do not look like the people that are pictures of health, let's just say. Sadly, Mama June's decision to pick a man over her children is not new. She had a relationship with a man in 2014 or 2015 that ultimately led to her show being canceled on TLC. The man actually was convicted of doing inappropriate, and I mean very inappropriate, things to her daughter. She was caught on camera. Photographs were leaked of her in bed with this man. Then, for years and years and years, she remained in an extremely abusive and toxic marriage and relationship with Sugar Bear, Alana's husband, and put her daughters, her older daughters, not Alana, into a situation where they were forced to sort of raise themselves and live in the chaos of her mother's dysfunctional relationship with these men. So a lot of people are a lot of people have asked, like, she leading up to all of this stuff, she hadn't really had an issue with drugs or alcohol. However, she did have a clear addiction to food. If you do remember, several years ago, she underwent a bariatric gastric sleeve. And after that time, she lost, I think she went from 400 pounds to well under 180 pounds. She ended up down at a size 4. It was sort of the reason why From Not to Hot, the show on WeTV, was started to sort of watch her weight loss journey. But according to the Endocrine News, addiction transfer is one of many common side effects that can happen to individuals that go through bariatric gastric surgery. So it says any patient who undergoes surgery is usually prescribed some sort of opioid to help cope with the post-operative pain, but new research suggests that bariatric patients are more likely to develop chronic opioid use, and this occurs more often in patients who had post-operative complications or lost less weight. Bariatric patients are also more prone to abuse and are at risk for becoming addicted to alcohol. Studies have shown that drugs and alcohol and food trigger similar reward responses in the brain, and binge eating can be construed as an addiction. Alcohol and drugs could substitute for overeating following bariatric surgery. There's been studies that have shown that individuals that undergo this type of weight loss surgery run a higher risk for becoming addicted to alcohol. They actually did a study where they followed 2,500 patients. I can't even remember over how long. And within that time, 10 of those patients ended up dying from an alcohol overdose. There are complications related to the absorption and how once you change the size of the stomach, how the alcohol absorbs into your stream, which can make patients more intoxicated more quickly. And therefore, people run the risk of becoming alcohol dependent and addicted to alcohol and drugs. So, unfortunately, it's not unexpected that she would be on this path. She's done what's called an addiction transfer. So, sadly, this isn't, I guess, that uncommon for people that undergo these treatments. And doctors recommend that in order for patients to avoid this type of, and to avoid an addiction transfer, that not only should patients undergo the surgery, but continue on in therapy education before, so they know the risks and understand what the risks are, and then continue on into cognitive and behavioral therapy to help develop coping skills and to work through the behaviors and the issues to the addictive behaviors to begin with. So without proper medication, without proper help from a medical doctor and counseling, your patients will run a higher risk here. So as sad as this is, I guess it shouldn't be too unexpected. So sadly, Alana is kind of the collateral damage in all of this. My only hope here is that because of what's going on with Mama June, the WeTV will finally cut ties with this family. This family is in zero position to be on TV at this point. And like I said, this is not something that I have followed regularly. However, it interests me from a scientific perspective because of what's gone on with the bariatric surgery, and then just from a human perspective as a mother, and what causes mothers and parents and people to make these types of choices. I really do wish June the best of luck. I hope she seeks help. I really hope that she gets the help she needs. And I also hope for Alana that she has people in her life that can help her navigate this very difficult time. I hope that she has therapists or counselors to deal with these emotions. Not being with your mother after being raised from her for your entire life, to be living with your sister, cannot be easy. And I certainly hope she has the right support in her system. Just to give you some photos, Alana has been on Instagram posting pictures. She seems happy. She started school. Pumpkin posted her picture of her first day of school. According to sources in the family, she's actually been doing really well with her family and really well with her sister. She's in a better position now than she was when she was living with her mother. So hopefully this will allow Alana some stability, but it's still sad nonetheless that she has left and she is no longer with her mother. So please, June, consider getting help, not only for your daughter, but for yourself. All right, you guys, I'll be back later. I will be doing a full episode recap of the last episode, or last night's episode of Teen Mom OG. Bye, guys.